Hi there guys, in this video I'm showing you how to make this granny square jacket. I actually made it for Chloe, so it's a slightly smaller size than what I would have had for myself, but it turned out really well. As you see, she likes to have a little belt with it. You can wear it without the belt, you can make one with the belt. I actually don't show you how to make the belt, but you can also make little ties. I didn't make buttons for it. If you do want buttons, it's easy enough just to make little loops on the one side out of chain and then put a button on the other side, but I didn't think it was really necessary to do that, so you know, it's up to you as to how you want to do it. Now mine turned out fairly long. If you don't want it that long, you can just do one less row of squares. It's really not too hard to do. It's pretty simple. Just by the neck, where I do the neck, it's a little bit it's not just straight up and down, so that's the only part. Otherwise, putting it on, I've given you 3 different sizes: a medium, a small, and a large, or I should say extra large, because this one's kind of a medium to a large, you know, but you'll have to measure it, to measure your square and then see how far you go with it. But yeah, that's really the jacket, and that's my beautiful daughter Chloe, and yeah, I'm going to show you how to make it, so let's get started. So making our jacket, this is what it looks like close up. For the medium size, depending on how many squares, how many rows, how the length of your jacket, etc., is going to depend on how many squares you make. So for this medium one, I basically made 110 of these squares. Now that is a lot of squares, but they're pretty quick to make. So yeah, you just got to get in there and make them. Now obviously make yours shorter if you don't want to make so many squares. You can make yours shorter, not as many rows as I did, and your top would basically be the same as mine, because you want to have 2 of these up, otherwise your sleeve won't be the right size. But yeah, that's basically it. They measure, mine measure about 4.5 inches, so that's not, it's a fairly medium sized square. If your square is bigger, you'll have to use less squares. You'll have to play with yours as to the size of your square and how many you're putting on and the size of your jacket, but that's how mine is. And yeah, the square that I'm using, I've got a YouTube video up, and it's called granny square, flower granny square, so use that. The link to the YouTube video is in the box, in the information box at the bottom of my actual video, so I'll put a link in for this, and that's the square that I used. You could use any square, I mean, it doesn't really matter. So this is my little kitty cat that's trying to get here, so that's just her tail in the background there. So yeah, the link is there. You make your square and measure yourself so that you can see how many squares you want in your jacket. For instance, if it's 4.5, this measures 4 inches and you have 10, basically it's going to be like 40 inches going across. So that's really all that you do. My sleeves, I did the exact same border. I did the same border on my sleeves as I show you here. I don't show you how to do it with the sleeve, but I do show you how to do the border on your center front, and it's exactly the same thing. Just be aware, however many stitches you put on your sleeve over here, you want to do the same thing on the other sleeve, so they're not out of proportion. Give or take a stitch or 2. If you got 1 or 2 more extra or less, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But yeah, and the same on your center front. You basically want the same amount of stitches so that you end up with the same so they look the same on both sides. But yeah, I can't think of anything else to let you know. This is the cat playing with my camera here. She's just a little baby. She's, gosh, she must be about 3 months old now, and she's a Persian. She's got 2 different color eyes, but the cutest little thing ever. A lot of maintenance, because you have to, oh, there goes my water, because you have to brush them. They get very matted, so you have to keep brushing them. But anyway, that's besides the project. But yeah, so I can't think of anything else to tell you. If you have a problem with making your square, feel free to ask me. I don't mind answering your questions as best as I can. But yeah, that's about it all. So yeah, let's get started. Right, so what I want to do is show you how you're going to start off your jacket. I'm showing you the 3 sizes. For the really small one, what you're going to do, and you're going to have to see how long you want yours, but you're going to want 2 for the front, 4 for the back, and 2 for the other side on the front. So you're going to want 8 squares that you sew together. So you would do 8 squares, and I'm going up by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So depending on how long, this is the length that you're going to have from your armhole, because your armhole is going to come over here. So that's for the real small size, and then you would flip over your 2 and your other 2. I've got more on here, so I can't really do that, but you'd flip your 2 over and your 2 over. I've just got 1 extra. So you would flip your 2 over like that, and that's how small it will be for you. And then for your sleeves, it's really simple. I will get to that, but I just want to show you the very beginning part. So I went down 6. If you don't want to go that far, you can cut. You don't have to do this one here, or you don't have to do that one. Depends on the length that you want. But that's from under your arm all the way down. So you can measure and see how many rows you want down. But for the smallest size, you're going to do strips of 8 and join them together and go up as high as you want. Now for the largest size, the only one that's giving me the harder part is the middle size. For your larger size, you would do 3. I would go with 3 on each side and 6 on the back. So that's 12 that you would have to use. So you do a strip of 12, 3 for here, 6 for the back, and 3 for your other side. So you would have to have 12 of these. So you would join 12 together, and once again go up as high as you want. Join them together as high as you want. So that's for the largest size. Now for the medium size, I've put 10 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've done 10 because we're going to be halving ours. You're going to be doing 2.5, and this side will be 2.5. That's how we will be folding the medium one. So if you're doing the medium, this is how you're going to do it. The medium one is a little bit different to the other 2. The other 2 are basically the same, just different in size. But for the medium, we have to put halves on the ends here because I couldn't go bigger and I couldn't go smaller. So the only way to make a middle size one is to use half for one here. Now it's a bit of a challenge because my sleeves are going to be slightly different now. But I've managed to work it out a way that we can do it, because I didn't want to do half motifs or quarter motifs. I wanted to stick to just the one little square. So the way that I'm going to do it here is going to work for us. But I don't want to show you the sleeves quite yet. I just wanted to get you started with this. So as I say, if you're doing the small, you're going to put strips of 8. If you're doing the medium, you're going to do strips of 10. And if you're doing the large, you're going to do strips of 12. Now, I don't know, I'm just saying mediums, I'm just going small, medium, large, but I don't know. This could be medium to large, and the large is probably going to be extra large, but I'm just saying those are the 3 sizes. You need to measure your square, and then when you put them all together, like this one strip, I can see how long it is and see if that would work going around you. So yeah, that's all that you need to know to get started. So you can actually do that and just times the squares that you're doing in a strip as to how many you're going up with, and that's how many you make. And then for the sleeves, I will show you how to do that on the next clip, but go ahead and you can at least get started with this part, and then I'll show you how we do the top part. So to do our sleeves, now this is for your medium. It's not your medium, this is for your small and your larger one, where you don't have a half down here. When you don't have the half, it's pretty easy to do the sleeve. I mean, the other way is also going to be just fine, but this one is a little bit more simple. So all that you're going to do, so this is your body, and this is either 2 or 3, however many you have going across. That's the left and the right. Now what you're going to do is you're going to just keep coming up with your motifs. You're going to put one here, and then you're folding this one over for your top. Okay, so you're just going to go up 2.5, and then you're going to take this motif like this, and you're just going to make it this way. Don't fold it you don't fold it this way, so it's not that way. You're going to fold it this way so that you have a triangle, and that triangle fits in here. It goes across there and over there, and this is going to give you a little bit extra space for your armhole over here. And then you're going to come out as far as you want yours to go. Probably another motif here and another half there for your sleeve. And then that's all that you're doing for your sleeve. The other side you would do exactly the same. This one now, it is going straight up with no, as you can see, it's just going up to your neck. It's going to be just straight, and this one's going to be straight. So you're not, I haven't put any folded ones over. I've just left it completely straight, which isn't a problem because I've got a half here, so it might be a little bit awkward to make a half of one, and I didn't want to fool around with half motifs. I just wanted to do it straight. So this way is just straight, which is fine, is the way this jacket is. So yeah, that's all that you need to know. So you just, and obviously you got to put one at the top and one at the back. So you're going to just go up 2 1/2, and then right on this last edging here, you're going to just fold it over, and you're going to sew the half. You're going to sew your square in over here and over there, and then the top part will go onto your top motif, which is here and over there, and then that gives you your armhole over there, and then just go with halves over here, and that's all that you're doing. So you're going to do that. You're going to do that on the larger one too. If you had 3 motifs over here, in other words, if we had 3, you would do exactly the same thing. You do it with 3, 1, 2, 3, and if you had a bigger jacket with 4, you would also do that. You just put 3 going across there, because that's how wide yours is, and this is exactly the same. This stays the same because our armhole is fairly large here. So the only place where it's going to be slightly different is when I show you how to do our half or one, because it's going to be exactly the same thing, but you just have to come out further. So now, okay, I must well show you. For your half, if you've got the half on here, you just have to put these on the exact place. So example, this one would go above that and that. So those two are right, and then you've only got a half for one. So your next full motif is only going to be used halfway, and then you're going to put this one on and do the rest like that. So that one would be there, that would be there, this would be there, and this would be there. So everything else is exactly the same, except you've just got an extra half a piece here, because this motif, because of this, you have to go halfway there. So that's all that you do. Alright, so just to go over it once more, you have your, this is for the medium, you would have your 2 1/2 motifs. So you have your 2 1/2, that's the other side, 2 1/2 here, and you'd make sure that these are aligned there, and obviously it's going to be the extra half that you have here, and this motif would be sewn halfway and halfway, and then you would sew this together, then you put this triangle one there and go up the same as all the others, 2 1/2, and that's it. The same thing here, it's going to be straight up by the neck. So they're all the same, because the only thing is this one has a little bit extra of a half here, because there's nothing else I can do because of this. When you're working with squares, you're stuck. I can't just fold and bend and try and increase and decrease on my square. I've got a square block to work with, and you've got to do the best that you can with them. So this way your sleeve won't be so thick. Now if you want a real fat sleeve, you can. I mean, you don't have to put this one in. I mean, you could just make your sleeve like this, where you have 3, and the same with the other sizes. You could have it where you've got 2 1/2, so that'll ultimately go 1, 2, 3. That would be 4 of these going around your arm, which is pretty big. I don't know, you might want it, but even with the bigger sizes, you don't really want your sleeve to be too clumpy, too large compared to the rest of your jacket. So you can play with it. As I say, you can make this bigger, and you don't have to have, you don't have to have the halves. You could just go with these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 going around, so your sleeve would just be like that. And that's for the other sizes too. You just wouldn't go over the half. So if you want to have 4 of them like this is the easiest route. But I didn't want mine to be 4 because this is really big by your wrist. At the bottom here, it's really large by your wrist, and I didn't want that. So the only way that I could do it was to have it the other way. So that's how you're going to be structuring your jacket. So this is where you turned your front around and it's halved. Okay, so this is the sleeve and this is the one that's going to be going like that. Okay, so what we have to sew is you got to sew this half onto the bottom here. So this half of your front, this is your front. So you're going to sew half of this over here, and I'm going to do that. All I'm going to do is sew it. You want to get your corners, you know, where they match each other, and you can see where you did your chains. So you just want to get that matching, and then I'm just sewing it really, and make sure that, and this one's only halfway, so you've got to make sure that you've got it halfway. There's the chain 3, the middle of the 2 chain 3s, and there's the middle of the 2 chain 3s. So if I'm wanting to go halfway, kind of look, you've got 1 2 3 4, so really 2 and in the middle of that one, so 2 and in the middle there, so that's really where my half is. So aim for that and sew that up, and then I'll meet you here and show you what we do next. Alright, so now that I've sewn the bottom, I'm flipping this over to the right side. So you can see now we've sewn the bottom. Now we've got to sew the top half onto here. Now just be sure that you have gone to the half. Now this half has to come onto here. I'm not sewing any threads in yet. I don't do that until the end, because if I've made a mistake and I've got to unpick, then I've at least still got my threads. I can see where they are. So as much as I want to sew them in, I don't. Okay, see, so now we've got the top half sewn and we've got the bottom half sewn, and now this is where it starts looking a little bit weird. So if you do it the way I showed you, then it's great. Okay, now we've got to sew this onto here, and I'm just looking for my threads because I kept them specifically so that I can use them to sew with. Okay, so now we've got to sew this part on here. So I'm going to have to go back, turn it inside out, but just know where you're sewing. Like I hold it there so now I can see, okay, I got to sew this and this together. Now if you're doing the other sizes, it's a lot easier. You just have your squares and then you're just sewing that one side piece, the triangle, on. So now you've sewn this one in over there. You sewed it in the bottom, you sewed it on the top, and now that one is in. Now this is the one, this end one is the one that is going to go like this. So you can see, because that's already sewn on, that this one is going to have to get sewn on over here. So I'll have to flip it inside out, but just remember where you are, because as you can see, this is the top part. So I'm going to hold it over there so I know where I am, and I'm going to just flip this inside out. I'm going to bring my thread up to this side. Now I know this is, I'm going to sew this piece on here. So I'm going to go ahead and sew mine, and then I'll meet you back at the end of this one. Alright, so I sewed it on there. Now you've just got to sew it on the top. So now this piece has to go all the way from that side. It's got to go to here. So you just got to find where your half a point. Okay, this is where the 3 chain are, and I've got to join it onto there. So I've got to sew this all the way to there. Okay, and then it's going to be like that. So now I'm just sewing this top part on here. So go ahead and do it. Once again, you're going to have to just hold it there and then flip your work inside out. And just keep holding it there, then you know exactly where you are, because it does get a bit confusing. Okay, and I'm assuming it's this one going here. Yep, it is. It's this one. So I'm going to do that. I'm flipping it upside down, holding it there, and this is the one that I'm going to sew. So I'm going to sew mine, and I'll meet you back now. Alright, so now I've sewn that on. So now I've sewn this whole half a piece, this triangle with you. So you should be good with that. Now the rest is very simple. All you're going to do now is just sew this on here for your sleeve. If you need longer sleeves, you'll have to make more. Otherwise, I'm going to do a bit of a border on mine. So just sew that together and then sew this on here. And as I say, by your neck, you're just going to go up to there. And you leave this half over there open. And that's it. So I'm going to finish that and then you should be good with this. Now, if you're doing the straight one, if you're doing the one where your square is literally over here, where you're just doing your squares like that and all that you had was this on the side, that's all that you're going to do is sew. You're just going to sew this half onto there and the other half onto the back of that one. That's all that you do. That's why I'm not doing it with you, because it's very simple. This this way that I'm doing it the other way is harder. That's why I needed to show you. But this one, where your squares are just straight and you're just putting this one over here, you sew that to the top, the bottom piece onto the bottom motif, and that's it. And then you sew all of these. So that's pretty simple. So I'm not going to be doing that with you. This was the harder one that I wanted to show you. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sew mine and then we'll come back and do our border. Alright, so now when you actually do your neck, you do all your motifs all the way up until where they flip over. Okay, but the only two, the middle two, one on the center front and one on the center left and the center right, only one each here. You don't sew it onto this one. And you don't sew it onto this one. So you go all the way up with however many motifs you went up with, and which would basically be by your sleeve. There's your sleeve with the half for one, and you're going up 1, 2.5. Well, you're going up 3 and you're flipping that one over, so it's 2.5 ultimately over here. So you would go up 1, 2, and then the third one, do not sew it together so it flips over. So just these two, you don't sew onto there. So you go up to here. I did try it without this motif here and it doesn't work. You want to make your motif go all the way up to here, to where they flip over, and then these middle two, as I say, one from each side, don't sew that onto this one. So just sew half of it, just sew the back onto half and the back onto half there. And now with our neck like this, we're going to make a bit of a collar over here, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. This is going to be our neck. Now you did all your squares, you put squares in everywhere except, well, you did except for folding this lot over here. Then it would be short of having everything just sewn together, and we're not doing that. We're leaving this open. Now one way which would be really easy if you don't want to do any borders is you could sew this on here and on there, not over there, and when you put your jacket on it actually works fine and you don't have to crochet any borders on. So that is one situation that you can do. As I say, sew it on the sides here and don't sew it on there, and then your neck would work without borders. That's also great, but I just want to finish mine a little bit better than that. I just want to put something on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this side, from my left one with my right work facing. I'm going all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, and I'm going to come all the way down, go all around the bottom of my jacket, come around, come up again until I'm on this side. So one huge round is going to take quite a while to go all the way around, but I'm going to do it that way. And I'm going to show you how to start it. Now I'm not going to do the whole thing around, it'll take forever, but I'm going to show you how to start it. Okay, so I'm going to start on this side with the right side facing. I'm just going to come in right at the corner here, and I'm going to slip stitch. Then I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and all I'm going to do is double crochet. Now I'm just going to do double crochets, but I don't want too many and I don't want too little. So this is where you have to use your you've got to use your initiative a little bit here, in the sense of how many are we going to put in. So for example, I don't want to go in each one of these 3. So and there is no set amount of double crochets that I'm doing. I'm just kind of going free form and putting them in. So I've got that one there. I'll go into this next one with a double crochet, and I'm going to skip that next one and I'm going to come into here. So where I've got the 3 there, I'm really just one in the corner, and then I've got 2 over this 3. Just put them in. I just don't want too many of them, and especially here, because if it gets too full, Then I'm going to go one in each of these double crochets that I have. It's going to go one in each, and as I say, there's no set amount that I'm putting in. Now the only other place now is here where you have these 3 again. I'm going to do one just before the set of 3, and I'm going to do one, I'll skip one and I'll do one here. You know, play with yours as long as it's not pulling and as long as it's not scrunching. That's what you want. You want it to lie flat, and mine's lying flat now. Alright, so we've just gone from this side to this side, and now we've got our very first kind of turn where this neck part is turning. Now I'm going to be taking this one, and this one, these 3 corners of the 3 motifs, and I'm going to do single crochet 3 together. I want to bring it in, so this very first space, just bring up 1 loop, the next one, go in and bring up a loop, keep them on your hook, go in the next one and bring up a loop. Okay, you got 4 on your hook, and then go through all 4 of these. Okay, and that's made a nice strong decrease. Okay, and then you're going to just keep going into your stitch with double crochets, and as I say, as many as you feel you need for it to lie straight. It's basically 1 in each double crochet. You're doing 1 in each. If you find that they're a little too close, then skip 1. Okay, and now I've come into my next corner, and let's see, I'm just deciding if I should do 1 more double crochet in there, but I'm not. I'm just trying to see here I can't really see where I did my corner. It's right over here. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm not going to use 3 on my next one. There I did my 3. This one I'm just going to do 2. So I did my last double crochet there, then I'm going to take this one and this one. Okay, and we're going to just do the same thing. Bring up 1 loop, go in this one, bring up a loop, and go through all 3. So we're just doing 2 on this second turning over there. Okay, and then once again you're going to do your double crochet up to the top of this neck, and let's see, I don't want to do too many, and it should be lying pretty flat and nice. Okay, so it's looking like this, and then the next round we're going to bring it in more, and then hopefully that should be enough. Okay, now like for this one we're going onto this neck edge. If you feel you need to put 3 in here, you can put 3 as you're turning. I'm thinking 2, let me see, 2 might be enough. 1, 2. Now it's probably best, go ahead and do 3 in your corner as you turning around. Not really turning around, as you're coming around here. So it'll lie nice and flat, and then I'll do 1 in there. And I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to go in here because I don't want too many of those. Yeah, see, and it gives you a fairly nice turning over there. And you're going to do the same thing on your, when you come to the end of this neck edge and you're coming down to this side now, to your other center front. You're going to do the same thing, double crochet. You can put 2 or 3 in here. Come down, then this first one here by your neck, you're only decreasing 2, and then this one as you're coming towards your center front, you're decreasing these 3, 1, 2, and 3. Should be a third one. There you go, 1, 2, and 3. You're going to decrease these together. Go across here, do your double crochets, put 3 in there, go all the way down. And as I say, like here, I'm not putting all double crochets in. I'm going here, I'm putting 1 in here, 1 there, and 1 there. And then I'm just going down. But the main thing with your double crochets is that it lies straight, it lies flat, it doesn't bunch up, and it's not pulling your work in. That's the main thing. So as long as your double crochets are lying flat, then you know you've got the right amount of double crochets in. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go all the way around, and I'm going to come back and meet you over here, and we're going to do another round, and I think I can try and get this joined together. In this next round we should be able to decrease enough to go across there and decrease this enough to go across there, and I think that row should be enough, round all the way around, and I'll meet you back here at this first center. Okay, so when you get to the beginning, I'm just going to do a slip stitch in this chain that I had made, and then you're going to chain 3 again. 1 2 3. Okay, so you did your chain 3, and we're going to be doubling we're going to double crochet exactly what we've been doing, and we're going to be decreasing in this corner, this one, that's the front, and then this one and this double crochets again. And once again for your corner, I already did 3 when I came back, so I'm just going to do 1 in here, and then I'm going to go into each one of these. Now you go into each one of the double crochets that you had made. Okay, so I'm just doing a double crochet in each one of these crochets that I already have, and I just want to show you how to do these corners here. Okay, so we're still going to use our single crochets, and you can see where this one's a little tricky. We're going to use our single crochets, and you can kind of see where you've got your middle stitch. Now I'm going to go into this stitch, and I'm going to go into, let me see, 1 2, I'm going to go into this one right over here, and I'm going to go into this one over here. Okay, so I'm just going to single crochet, bring it through, single, and then go through all 3. So I'm just decreasing there, and it's going to bring that in, and then I'm going to do double crochets in this one, and I'm just going across to this next corner, which is really not too many stitches. 1 2, and then here this one, so this one and this one. I know it's a little tricky, but it's not the end of the world which one you're going into. You just want it to look good. It's not this doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it's coming in and it's not pulling too badly, you're going to be okay. See there? It's coming in nice. But anyway, so now do the same thing. Now just go across here, your neck, and do the same thing over here in this one and in this one. And I'll meet you back. So you've come to the end of this section, and I just did my chain 3 so long. It's just going to hang in there. But now you should be able to try and get this little section sewn in. Yours, even if you had slightly different double crochets, yours should be more or less the same as mine. Now you want to go with this motif more or less to the half of this one. So you're going to have to manipulate these two together, but you don't want to go much further because you want them to be equal, and I want it to be more or less half. So you got 1 2 3 4. Just make it so that you're in the half of this square. So if you put it over there, half of it is more or less here, half of this one is going to be here. Okay, so this one needs to go up to about there. So we're going to sew this in. Now you want to sew it in the best that you can, that it's not scrunching in any way, and that it's looking good. Let me show you. Now if yours is scrunching too much, you might have to decrease a little bit more on this, on the one that's a bit longer, which you can do on this row coming back. This one, if you're finding yours is not working too well, like I say, the longest one you must try and decrease. So this one of mine is a little bit longer, but I think I can do it where I don't have to go back and decrease. But if you find you might want to decrease another 2 here, which will make this a little bit shorter, and then it will go in better, if you know what I'm saying. So wherever you need to, just you might have to pull out a little bit now on that row and just go back and decrease, which is fine. I mean, it's not an issue. It's a short little, it's not like you've got a whole bunch that you would have to take out. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just sew it together. So I'm just getting my yarn to where it needs to be. and you want to sew it on the wrong side of the work. Alright, so you want it on the wrong side, and you want to probably bring your yarn up here, because this is where you want to bring it in. Right over here you want to start working over here, because you're going to come from there up and down. So I've got to join these two sides together. So let's bring our yarn in here, and you're going to just sew this together. So let's put it inside out, and just remember where your halfway was, which is more or less over here. So hold this end over there. That's about halfway there. So this is what's got to be sewn in here. And as I say, just do it so it's not looking bad and all scrunchy. Okay, yeah, see, that's looking good. And then this can come all the way over to there. So as long as this part is looking good, which mine is, I can keep crocheting. See, I can keep sewing this together. So just monitor yours. If it's starting to scrunch too much, go back and decrease a little bit more. Just decrease whichever stitches need to be. Alright, see, mine looks pretty straight. Mine doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it will work. It's not puckering and it's not too... It'll definitely work. Okay, so then what you've got to do is you've got to come to the other side and do the same thing. So, and just be careful of the stitch that you've got holding on there. And then we're going on to this side, and it's the same thing. Find your middle section here, and if this is the half, that's more or less the middle over here. And hopefully this one is the same as the other one. Alright, yeah, see, that one is fine. So I've got both of them in like that. Now you can put your jacket on and try and make sure that it looks good. If it doesn't, you're going to have to undo it and do a little bit of more decreasing just in that little section. But I think that you should be fine, because if you're following with your double crochets, you should be more or less the same as me, give or take one or two of them. Alright, so now that you've sewn it in, you've got a pretty good piece all the way around, all in one. You don't have to do any decreases. Now if you want to do another row of plain double crochets all the way around your work, down this center front all the way around and around your neck, then go ahead and do another one. It's just going to bring it in a bit more, make this closer together to each other. You're gonna have, you'll add an extra half an inch or so on either side. If it's a little, your jacket's a little tight, you want it a bit bigger, go ahead and do that. The more that you do, this is going to rise up a little bit, which is okay. I mean, it's not an issue, but I wouldn't go ahead and do too many. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do another one. I might, but I want to show you what we're going to do right at the end. Once you've done that, the very last row that I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do chain 3 to stand for my double crochet, and then I'm going to do another double crochet and another one. So that's 3 double crochets. Then in the next stitch I'm just going to do slip stitch, in the next one slip stitch, and in the next stitch slip stitch. Okay, so we're going to be doing 3 double crochets in one, and then 3 slip stitch in the next 3 stitches. So the next 3 double crochets go in the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then in the next 3 stitches you'll do a slip stitch. So 1 slip stitch in that stitch, 1 in the next, and 1 in the next. So be aware that if you are doing more rows of double crochet, remember that if you're doing this border, it's going to bring your work closer together as well. So that's why I don't think I'm going to do another row. I think I'm just going to do my border now. When you get to this side, this is the only place you're going to have to be a little careful. You might not end up with your 3 double crochets and then 3 slip stitches. It just, the way your stitches work out, it might not end like that. You might end up with only 1 slip stitch on the end, but you just play with it, and you just want your work to you know, this is the back of your neck, so you just want the two to kind of work together. So however you want to end yours, I can't really tell you because I don't know where you're going to end. Just end it. Don't feel you have to do 3 slip stitches. You might find that you end up having your 3 here and you can just join it together into this one, you know, or you might actually get to put another one in here and it looks great and you join it together there. So I can't, you know, I don't know how many double crochets you're going to have left over to play with here, but just improvise and make it so that it's working out well, because that's your center front and this is by your neck. So that's all that I'm going to do for my jacket. I'm going to go all the way around now with this border. 3 double crochets in 1 stitch, slip stitch in 1, slip stitch in 1, slip stitch in 1, 3 double crochets in 1 stitch, and slip, 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 and 3 in the 1 and slip. So that's all that you're going to do, and you're going to do the same thing for your sleeves. I don't know how long you need your sleeves to be. If yours are too long, then you'll have to take one of these off, but I don't think it's going to be too long. Mine are a little bit short, so I'm going to do the exact same border. I'm just going to do a set of double crochet all the way around my sleeve, and then I'm going to do the same border, and that's it. Then your jacket is complete. Alright, so just to recap, if I wasn't too clear with this neck part, just how we did it. We started on this side. If the work is facing you like this with your neck, you started on the left side and we went this way around. We did our neck with decreases. This is where I've sewn it. We decreased there, came over the neck, decreased this side. Then you went all the way around your jacket, came all the way back up to where you started. And then you did this neck part again with decreasing. You came here, you decreased, and then you stopped here. And that's when I said we need to sew it. You sewed on both sides, and then you came around with this final stitch. And we did that and ended back here. Just so you know how many times we did. So really you did 1 decrease here, and then you came all the way around, and you did another decrease when you came around there, and then you sewed it up. So I just wanted to clear that up so we know how we did that. So I hope that you've enjoyed doing this video, and I hope that you've come right. If you need to ask me any questions, feel free to ask me and I'll help you the best that I can. But yeah, that's basically it. So I hope to see you in my next video, and thanks so much for joining me. Bye.